Hey guys, this is Vernier for cardrunners.com, and I'm bringing you the third part of the Building Good Poker Study Habits for 2014. It's 10 steps to more mindful poker, and today we're going to look at hands where you called a 3-bet in position pre-flop, and we see how that plays out. So once again, I like to start a spreadsheet either on Google Docs or on Excel. And this one I have on Google Docs. It's nice because it's in the cloud and you can use it in a lot of different situations. So practice 3, it's called 3-bet in position, and we're going to bring up Hold'em Manager. The filter we're going to run here is go to other advanced filters. So the pre-flop, called pre-flop 3-bet. I want that to be true. And on the flop, last act on flop, I want that to be true as well. So I'm going to see how this looks. Looks like I'm slightly winning in those situations when I call a pre-flop 3-bet. When I call a 3-bet pre-flop. But let's just take a look at the hands. So we're going to go to my 50 cents a dollar hands, and we're going to line them up in just by time. I want the time to be increasing. So let's look at the first one. So in the first one, I've got, I'm going to bring that up. Looks like it's a rush hand. So date 1/5/2013. My hand is 3-3. Villain's hand we don't know. Let's see what happens here. So I'm going to raise from middle position, get 3-bet from the small blind, and I am sitting, we're about 120 big blinds deep, so I'm getting very good odds to set mine. The guy's 22, 16, and 6, so let's make a note of that. 22, let's see, 16 and 6. Tag, and let's see what happens. So I think it's a fairly straightforward call, just because we are in position and we are relatively deep. We started the hand 120 big blinds deep. So the flop comes 2-4 queen. He ends up checking, end up checking back. This is a flop where he's going to check call a lot, so there's no sense in bluffing with my 3s. If he has ace king, I have some showdown value. The turn is a king, and again, I'm just shutting down, check, check, and the river's a 9, and it goes check, check again, and he shows up with jacks. So fairly straightforward. So the villain had jack, jack. Category, I'll say standard set mine. Try to get to showdown. Notes, fairly standard. Don't try to bluff once villain checks. He'll often check call. That's the note that I want to make there. All right, so let's take a look at the next hand. So I'll close this one out and bring up the next hand. So the next hand I have king queen, and I min raise the button, get 3-bet from a 28-11 player over 37 hands. And king queen is one of those hands that I do want to call in position. So I think this is, let me see when this happened. This hand was, one second. It was on the 5th. So 1/5/2013. My hand king queen offsuit. Villain's hand I don't know. And what do we know about the villain? The villain is playing 28-11-10 over 37 hands. So 28-11-10 over 27 hands. Was it 27 or more? 37. Over 37 hands. And I'm just going to flat here. Pretty sure I'm going to flat. I think 4-betting would be awful. I have king queen offsuit. Good hand to stay in a position. I'm not that worried about being dominated, especially against like a 75 big blind stack. So I call, and the flop is 4-8-4. He checks, I check back. The turn is a 10, he checks again, and now I'm just going to bet and try to take it down, and he ends up folding. I don't like betting that flop for the same reason I didn't like betting the last one, and just because I think he's going to check call very often. And then I have to bet multiple barrels, and then I'm basically looking to see a cheap flop and maybe, either take it down in position on later streets or hit and just get some value from hitting a pair. I'm not looking to play a huge pot with this. But once he checks once he checks twice on this, I'm just going to bet and try to take it down. So I have no idea what he had, but category, I would say good price to see flop versus like tourist type with high cards. And once he checks twice on low board, low, medium board, stab at it. And if I had a small pocket pair, I think I would have played the same way. Although I might, against this guy, I might actually bet the flop with a hand like 3s or 2s, or, well, not with 2s, but with like 4s through 9s. I would definitely be betting the flop. All right, so let's look at the next hand. So in the next hand, I have King Jack suited, min raise, 21-18 player calls. 3 bets, and this guy is Steve. Yeah, he's a regular, and his stats are very solid. But I'm still gonna see a flop with King Jack suited, and I pretty much miss everything, and he bets, and I just end up folding. So I don't even have a backdoor flush draw. So in this situation, he is betting. He's not really getting out of hand betting. So he's playing 21-18, 6. So I'm going to make a note of that. So this was, I think, on the 28th. 1/28/2013. King Jack suited. King of Hearts, Jack of Hearts. Villain hand, I don't know. Villain type 21-18, 6 over 93 hands. So call in position versus small blind 3-bet with hand that flops well. Once I miss completely and villain bets, just give up. And I like the way I played that hand. All right, so let's get rid of this one and let's look at another one. So A7 suited. This looks like it's going to be a little bit more questionable. All right, not at all. So pre-flop, a loose raise, but I've got these two players, 32-22 and 39-12, that I'm just going to be looking to play pots against him. So at a lot of tables, this would be a loose raise. At this table, I think it's okay. And the villain ends up, I'm getting like amazing odds, so I'm going to call. And on the flop, it's just going to go check. I'm way ahead, way behind here. On the turn, he bets $2, and I'm just going to look to get to showdown. And on the river, my 9 is counterfeited, or my kicker's counterfeited. I guess even on the turn, my kicker was counterfeited. And he bets pot, and I don't like it here. In this situation, as you can see by the pot odds down here, I'm getting 2-1, so I have to be correct 33% of the time if I call. And I don't really see a line that he would take as a bluff by checking the flop, betting small on the turn if that's what happened, and then betting huge on the river. So I think this is just going to be a fold, and I do end up folding, and I like my play. So 1/28/2013, I have Ace of Clubs, 7 of Clubs, villain hand, I don't know. The villain was 21-12, so kind of a loose passive. 21-12 over not a big sample size, 90 hands. Category, great odds, pre-flop, try to get to showdown cheaply. So villain bet checked on ace XX flop, then bet small, then bombed it. This is often very strong. So that's my note here. And so far I like the way I've played all those. Let's take a look at one more. Looks like we've got time. So the last one is Queen 10. Suited. I like the Broadway type hands to see in position. So we're deep. I'm going to see a flop. So I see a flop. This is a this is not a great flop for my hand in the relative sense. So I've got two pair, but there's so many better hands that he can have here. So he goes check, check. I probably should bet this flop though, once he checks. And the turn is a 7, and he bets about half pot, and I'm just going to call and try to get a showdown. I actually think I should raise here, just because so often he's going to have a hand like kings or king queen or pocket aces with a diamond, and he is not going to give me credit for a flush. And I don't want, basically, I want to be able to get to the river and hope that he checks. So if the river's a diamond, so if he bets half pot here and I raise and he calls and the river's a diamond and he bombs, I can fold. But I don't want him to get to the river cheaply here. So I think I should raise the turn. All right. So now he bets, and if I don't raise, I'm horrible. So I raise quite big, and he ends up folding. So, kind of interesting hand. Let's take a look. It was on the 28th as well. Probably the most interesting hand we've seen so far today. But the whole point of this is to just look at all the hands, not necessarily just the ones that are going to be big or interesting. It's the process of going through and looking at, you know, all the little things, and the little things are going to add up, and they're going to make a big difference. So let me see. So queen of spades, 10 of spades, villain, once again we don't know, and the villain plays 23-18 over 67 hands, 23-18 over 67 hands. Category, suited Broadway, in position for a good price. And I'll say this. When villain checks the queen 10 jack diamond diamond flop, I don't think he will have ace king offsuit, or ace king. I'll just say ace king. Once the turn brings another diamond and he bets, I should raise to take initiative and not let him draw cheaply. And I think that's the key, is I don't want to let him draw cheaply. So I should add, I don't think he will have ace king, so I should bet. On the river, I like the bigger bet size. A min raise almost screams more strength. Like if I min race that river, I'm just so strong. I'm gonna have a full house there pretty much always. So, once again, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And for cardrunners.com, this has been Vernier. Good luck at the tables, guys.